Number one, how do men ruin their marriage? Number one. Now these are just habits and characteristics that you will find, and I'm sure as we mention them, many of you, if not all of you, might have heard or seen one of these things happen. Number one, ingratitude, and ask for more than you can give, and acknowledge others passionately but grunt or feel bad to thank your own wife. So number one, some men have a tendency to be disgratitude or to have disgratitude towards their wife. Never thanking them, never appreciating all the things that they do for them. For example, when a wife is in the kitchen and she's slaving over the stove, and you come home after a long day's work and you say, "What is this? This doesn't smell good. I don't want to eat this. I'm not in the mood for this," etc., etc., etc. This disgratitude that a person has, this is common, by the way. This is something that is widespread. This is the one way that a husband can ruin his marriage. Because what does this do? It causes the wife now to build hatred for him. It causes the wife now to do something she doesn't want to do. And you know what that is? It eventually leads her to say, "You know what? I don't want to cook anymore. Let's order pizza. If you don't want to order pizza, I ain't cooking. Because everything I do you don't like. So I'm not going to do it anymore." So what happens? One thing leads to another. Next problem, arguments. Next problem, fights. Next problem, in extreme situations, you might find that one strikes the other, and etc., etc., and it continues. How do you solve this? Okay, we won't mention problems unless we mention a solution. Do what the Prophet ﷺ used to do. Prophet ﷺ had a servant, right? How many years did he have this servant that used to cook for him? 10 years. Anybody here can say that Prophet ﷺ told his servant, "Hey, listen, I don't like what you made today." For 10 years, he never said a single word like this to him. He never uttered a single word like this to him. And actually, the servant himself narrates this and said, "For 10 years I've served the Prophet ﷺ, and he never ever said to me, 'Why did I do this? Why did I do that?' or whatever the case is." Now I won't say to you that you need to go to that extreme or you need to go to that level. It would be nice, inshallah, but we all know that that's very... So what I say to you is this: be very moderate and be very thankful. Try to build contentness in your heart, that whatever your wives do for you, however much they clean for you, however much chores they do for you, however many times they massage your feet, they massage your back, they take care of you, whatever your wives do for you, try to give something back. If you don't like something that she makes, try to do something for her next time, and you know what will happen 9 out of 10 times? She will completely forget about that. She will realize that, you know what, if my husband doesn't like this meal, I gotta look for something else that he likes. Because why? Why is she going to think this? Because you show gratitude to her that at least her efforts don't go to waste. So do something for her. Serve her. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Hatta al-luqma." Even if you were to take a spoon of food, or a small handful of food, and you were to give it to your wife and feed her, just one mouthful, it is sadaqah. And you get a reward for that. And as we know in the hadith in At-Tirmidhi, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you smile, it is sadaqah. Trust me, when you smile, and you smile to your spouses, they love it, they enjoy it, and you know what? They do deserve it. So this is the number one thing. One of the ways that husbands may ruin their marriage is by showing ingratitude to the efforts and to the sweat that women go through. I want to mention here, before we go to a point for the wives, I want to mention here, but everyone here, or as many of you, raise your hands if you think, or you believe, or you know, that it is the woman's job to cook and clean for them. Who believes that this is an Islamic effort, that a woman must do. It is wajib for her to serve her husband by cooking and cleaning for him. How many of you believe this? How many of you believe it is not wajib for her to do this? How many of you are in between? In other words, she does it if she wants, and if she doesn't want, she doesn't have to do it. There is no problem. Good, mashallah. You know, the last time I asked this question, is it wajib for a woman to cook and clean? All the brothers put up their hand. Naam, Allahu Akbar, yes, that's true. Okay? You know what Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah states in his collection of Arba'in al-Nawawi? There is a particular sharh that is narrated. Imam al-Nawawi said that it is not wajib. As a matter of fact, there is a great difference of opinion amongst the ulama. What is the role of a woman when she marries to her husband in terms of serving him? And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentions in his fatwa probably one of the best, most acceptable answers. Listen to the wisdom of Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah. He says that usually what a woman should do when it comes to serving her husband is that she should do what is necessary based on her tribe, or based on her culture, or based on the level of those women at that time. So for example, if a woman was rich, okay, she has a servant, she grew up with a servant, or a maid, who cooked and cleaned for her. She decides to get married now to someone, okay? Now that husband, he tell her, okay, you got to start cooking and cleaning now, or does he say to her, you got to get a servant? What does he have to do here? Who says servant? Who says, you know, you got to adjust, so cook and clean? One brother, yes. It is not, according to Shaykh al-Islam, it is wajib that this woman must have a servant. It is wajib. Which means if you don't do it, what does that mean? When you don't fulfill a wajib, you end up being athim. You end up being sinful. This is what fiqh teaches us. How many brothers and sisters you think know this? How many brothers and sisters? First thing you hear brothers will say, not all brothers of course, many brothers will say, well, she has to cook and clean because, you know, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ, that the men, they have the upper hand amongst women. This is completely incorrect. And it's a very important point. So if a woman, she is raised in such a manner in where she has learned to cook and clean, then this is something that she continues to do in her marriage. So there is a balance according to Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. This is the safest opinion. This is the opinion that causes the least amount of problems, because it causes that both parties have to do what? They have to adjust. They have to make changes in order to make a relationship work, and that's fair. It's not going to be all upon the woman, say, you got to do this, no. But this causes that the husband and wife, the husband, if he's not used to that, he will get used to it, as well as the woman, she will do the same.